Yeah, I have sent
Sorry.
the. Oh, I did not send my code to you?
No, we didn't receive that.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought I did. Okay. Okay, I'll send the code. Okay, you can do it and find out what is the mistake.
Okay, Abdul, and one more thing.
Okay.
Before once we install that module, okay, that things or database are created for that particular field. If we uninstall means still that thing is the database table is present in that Postgres DB.
After uninstalling also.
Yes, Abul.
Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe that is the logic. I mean, they did not. They don't want to delete the records or something like that. Yeah. I will ask tomorrow if it is
Uh,
actually by.
and and another doubt, Abul. First, initially I had created two fields, that
Okay.
name and email ID. But
Okay.
I uninstalled that. Then I changed that name to e underscore name. But still, that name field is there in that table.
Name field is also there. E underscore name is also there.
E underscore name is also available there.
Oh.
But I removed that name. Do you know the
Okay.
reason?
The thing is, whenever you upgrade, right, in
Mm-mm.
OpenERP, when you upgrade an add-on, it
Mm.
only creates new records or updates old records. It does not delete existing record.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so that
But
is
it's
how.
adding in that.
Say for example, let me give you an example. Um,
Will share your screen number.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Just a moment. Let me first send the existing.
Okay.
Compress file. Uh, See, there are too many things that I learned today. So, okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue
Okay.
from what we left yesterday because there were many topics. I mean, there were some new topics like function fields, constraints. Okay, then workflow. Okay, then on chain, then
Okay.
widget. Okay,
Okay.
there were many things. So I'm not sure that, I mean, anyway, because I'm learning for entire day, right? So from 9:30 to 7 o'clock.
Mm.
So it will be very difficult to explain everything. So what I'm going to do is I'll share the source with you, okay? Because I have commented the code extensively, okay? Wherever that is needed, okay? You can go through that, and after coming there, then probably I'll give you a session. But you can go through the code, Okay, as much as I have done for each day, I'll share the code with you. Okay, so you can go through the code.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you an overview of what all the things that I have done today instead of going into complete detail. Okay, so I mean instead of directly doing the code, I mean right, what we were trying to do yesterday is to create a module and directly doing the code, right? So that is going to take a lot of time, right? So what I'm going to do is I will travel
Yeah.
through the code, okay, and I'll explain you the various features that are available. Okay, so I think that will
Okay. No.
take a number of time. Okay, let me share my screen.
No.
Sir, another problem is there.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah,
When we after create the add-on, suppose I want to uninstall it,
okay,
so it's not getting uninstalled. It's showing some error. So
yeah,
because
I
of
saw
that
that.
error,
I will tell you why it is, okay? Because in
Okay.
today's module, you will come to know why that is. Actually, yesterday, Maya also asked a question how to validate, and
Yeah.
the error that you got is related to that. And today's topic actually covers validation also, okay? Other kind of
Okay.
validation,
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
right? Okay. So let me take up day 2 note also. So, I've sent the code with you, whatever that I've created until day 3. Okay, let me. Guys, able to see my code?
Yes. But not that much clear.
Okay, I thought so. So I will increase the.
Resolution.
Very. Okay, you can see my code now.
Yes.
Okay, guys know how to remove this toolbar. Oh, it's very small. Why it's not there? Okay. Anyway, so until yesterday, what we did is we were able to create different kind of fields. Okay, how many tables we created yesterday? Hello. 3 tables, right? So we created Open Academy underscore course, then Open Academy underscore session, right? So these are the 3 classes we actually. Okay. So there are different types of fields. Okay. So let us look at what. See, in menu, I don't know how you have created. See, first you create the menu item, right? Then you create a new menu item with a different ID, okay, and give the parent of this here in parent, correct? The ID of the parent here, and you create another item, okay, with another ID. Then parent is this ID, okay, and here you give the action Open Academy course, okay. So this is the action to open the course window, okay, action underscore Open Academy underscore, right? So apart from that, actually we have created other actions also that is in the workflow, which I will let you know later. Okay. So actually I have created another menu actually to create a session which is window underscore Open Academy underscore session, and its parent is menu underscore Open Academy underscore main. Okay. So again the action is here and the action is explained here, I guess. Yeah. Action to open the session window is here. Okay. So it is explained here. Okay. So hope you have got the basic idea of how to create actions, right? Where to start now? Okay. What are the different types of fields we saw yesterday? Can anyone recollect? Hello. We
Yeah.
Okay. We created basic fields and relation types of fields. In basic fields, we said we saw a list of different types of fields, and then in relation field, I mean, in relation fields, we saw different types of fields, right? In that, we said that we won't be using the I know one to many, one to one type of field. We'll be using only many to one to many, and many to many type, right? This font is too. Okay. So these are the different types of fields. Okay. Okay, so now apart from the fields, I mean those different types of fields, there are other type of fields also called as function fields. Okay, we'll see them later. Before that, let us go to two different other type of methods which are available. Okay, when we develop any model. Okay, so those are methods are called constraints and SQL constraints. Okay, constraints are nothing but validation. Okay, these are nothing but validation. Okay, so what actually validation does is it applies to any field. Actually, you don't have to give any field name. Hello? Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah?
We didn't get your screen, Abu. We didn't get your screen.
Okay. Let me share. Can you see now?
Make it easy. Come after.
I'm able to see.
No, Abul.
Probably your
Now
connection
we
is
can.
slow.
Yeah, now we can see, Abul.
Okay, so that is an inbuilt function called constraints. Okay, what you have to do is you have to define this property underscore constraints. Okay, and you this is the model. See, this is actually nothing but a tuple. Okay, list of tuples, nothing but list of tuples. You can add different functions to this. Okay, say for example you can add okay, you can add another function like this. Okay, we can say check email validation, something like this. Okay, and you can give the error. If it fails, then it will show this error. Okay, and this is actually supposed to be the field name, but even if you don't have to give the actual field name, you can give any field name or field label. Okay, but basically I'll tell you how it works. Okay, say for example you can give this as email field, even though we don't have the email field, we can still say this is email field. Okay, so how this I'll tell you how this works. Now I think we have to define the function, so otherwise it will throw error, or we can just define a function just saying it is always true. Okay, say see in every place if we start with underscore, okay, it means that that method is private. Okay, there are no keywords in Python as such to define private methods. If you say it is underscore, then it is private. Okay, it is implied. Okay, see in every method this will be common. Okay, self, cr, uids, ids and context will be common. If there are additional arguments, they will actually come here. Okay, before context. Okay, so let me show you how this works. Okay, I'm not going to compile the code, I'm going to show you the existing thing how it works. Okay, if you see that I have written a thing called as to find at and this thing. Okay, it's exclamatory mark and at symbol. So if it is available in the description, if any of it is available in the description, then it will throw an error. Okay, this font is not good, right? I mean, it's showing some value which is not actually readable. Is this font readable? Can you guys read this? Suddenly I don't know what happened to the font. Okay, you can see this now, right? Okay, I'm what I have written is I have written to find a and in the description field. Okay, so let me run the application now. Go and say this one. Okay, if I write mandatory, going to give me an error. See the error it is giving is error occurred while validating the field, and is giving the field name as description, and special filters are not allowed. Okay, what it actually does is if I change this as description, instead of that I put something. Okay, okay. Even now it will work and it will say that What happened? Okay, if I go to create, let me edit an existing record. See, there is an add or see, the field name is showing as here. Okay. Similarly, I can say, for example, I'm going to return this as false always. Okay. Now what happens is, so the field name that here I have given is email. Okay. Now it is going to throw me an error. Okay, see, there are two errors. While editing email, special data were not allowed. Sorry, this has to be given in list. So multiple fields. Okay. The fonts are very useless. Okay, I hope you guys can understand now. Okay, so it's going to make 3 errors based on the. Okay, so you can do any kind of validation based on this. Okay, so this is called as constraints. There are other constraints called as SQL constraints. Okay, you can actually.
I have one doubt. For which field? Where you are saying for which field it is validation is?
That is entirely dependent on your code. Yeah, I am checking the code description field.
Sorry?
See, this is the method, okay, which is validation. See, okay, when I call this, it goes here, okay. I get the course using self.browse. I get the course, okay, and then I get course.description and I write the whole thing, okay.
Okay, fine.
Self.browse means, I mean, I'm going to browse the current model, okay. From the current model, I'm checking, because there is only one record, it will throw false, okay, because I'm in the edit mode, right? So there will be only one record. Okay. You can understand now, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So that is with constraints. There are other constraints called SQL constraints. Okay, SQL constraints are used in, I think, 1 or 2 cases. Okay. See, SQL constraints typically are used to find actually only one or two methods only he showed me how where we can use SQL constraints. Okay. Say for example, the name of the particular model has to be unique. Say for example, in this particular case, the name of the course should be unique. Okay. Let me okay. Hey, I have another course. Say, let me get another course. Okay. Name must be unique. Okay. See, I have written this. This is an SQL this thing function. So I am calling unique underscore name. Okay, and I am saying that name must be unique. This is the actual value. Actually, this can be given like this. Okay, this will also work. Okay, why underscore? Okay, why underscore? This thing is given because if we define it this way, this particular string will become translatable. Okay, while translating, this will also will come, so you can actually have multiple another translation. Okay, for that actually for an example I have created this record. That is why I mentioned here the error text here is translatable. Okay, so this is the name that you give. It can be anything. Okay, name for that particular constraint. Okay, and this is the function that you call, and there are other. This is the error message. Okay, you can check for other SQL constraints in the entire find out how they are used.
Hello.
You can check for different kind of examples. Okay, Chinmay, you got an error. You said you got an error, right? Hello, Chinmay. Yeah, this error is because
Yes,
of
yes.
the SQL constraint. Okay, it says that for the for a particular company, you can actually give something like you can also give a domain context saying that within this company, this code has to be unique. Okay, so it was actually throwing that
Okay.
kind of.
Okay.
Okay, you can see here different kind of constraints. See, he must be unique. Okay, this is the definition. Okay, okay, checked in the server folder. Okay, if you check in the add-ons folder, you'll be able to see. Okay, there will be other constraints. For example, how SQL constraints can be used. Okay, so that is about constraints. Okay, you can get multiple validations and you can make SQL-based validations, okay, data validations using SQL constraints, and you can make field level validations within the client context. can be done with constraints. Okay, so that is about constraints. Let us see what are function fields. Okay, in the model that we saw yesterday, we saw that there are some fields which are function fields. Say for example, attendee count, remaining field percentage. Okay, these are actually functional fields. Okay, which means that these fields are dependent upon a function. I mean, these fields are calculated runtime. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is we are going to define those functions attendee underscore count. This is how we define fields dot function. Okay, this is the function name. Okay, this is the string. This is the field name. Okay, and this is the return type. What is the kind of type that is returned by the function? Okay, the type of field. Okay, and method true. Actually, I'm not very sure about this. Actually, there is some. I mean, you will find the explanation what is method true in the documentation. You can see later. Store true. Actually, this is not very important. Okay. Store true means then what will happen is it will store the value, calculated value in the database. Okay, if store is not true, then the values calculated will not be stored. Okay, so it is best practice to always store the value in the database. Okay, and that is again another field which I calculated. Remaining seat percentage. Okay. So both are dependent on the field called seat. We will see how we have obtained the field calculation. Okay. So let me see here. Get remaining seats. Sorry, get attendee count and get remaining seats percentage. Okay. In both the fields, I have used a common function called get remaining seats. I think that is in different. Okay. So get attendee count is the first field which calculates the attendee count. See if you can see the session model. You see the session model for each session there are multiple attendees. Okay, did we actually see these view? No, right? We have not seen these views. Okay, we'll see those. Okay. So this is the list of attendees. See, for example, for 1, 2, 3, the list of attendees is 2. Okay, the number of attendees is 2. Okay, how we are calculating? Let us see. Okay, so we are calculating the number of attendees. Okay, I'm going to use the button. See, the number. I mean the return value. How the return value should be is actually. How the value is returned is always in a dictionary format, where the ID is the key. Okay, the ID of that particular record will be the key, and the value will be stored within that. Okay, say for example, res is the variable that we are going to return. Res of ID will hold the value of that particular field. Okay, this is how it is always returned. Okay, so for how we are going to get the list of attendees, we are just going to find the length of the attendee. That's all. Okay, just say length of session dot attendees. Session is nothing but the variable that we are using in the for. Okay, so this is actually given as validation. If it is not available, then it is length function is going to give some error, right? So for that, actually, we have given this validation. They have used a condition. Okay, it is going to return the attendee count by just using the length function. Okay, there is again another function which is to get the remaining seats percentage. For that, we should know the number of seats, total number of seats, and the current attendee count, right? So what we are going to do is again we are going to use the same function self.route and I have used another function get underscore remaining underscore seeds. Okay. You can go to see here, get underscore remaining underscore seeds. It carries two different arguments. One is the seeds argument and one is the attendee argument. Okay. I am passing the both of them from here. See attendee underscore count we have already calculated from here. Okay. So see this field comes before this field. Okay, so automatically, so this field is automatically already calculated. It is available in the database. So we can just calculate this by getting the R&D count, and then from the seats, from the total number of seats, which is already right. So here you can see that I have written, I have put down the formula. Okay, you can see the two different arguments. As I said, this always will be there for any function, right? Within OpenERP, any model, within any model, the function, every function will have this, which is, I already told you, I think, I guess. Self means, self is, by Python definition, every single method will have self. Okay, this is equivalent to this pointer that we are using, right? In PHP, we will be using this to refer to the records or functions within the particular object or class, right? So actually, within that object actually. Okay, so for that we'll be using self here in Python. CR actually denotes the current record. UID is the current user ID, and IDs is nothing but the current ID that is the current reference ID that is being passed. Say for example, in this particular case, ID will be the current session ID. Session.id will be the ID. Okay, so these four values are always passed. Okay, these are the other two arguments, and context we'll be seeing later. Okay, so if seats and attendee count are available, then we are going to use that function and we are going to return the value. Then we are going to return the value in the same way as session.id. Okay. Okay, now that we have calculated here, okay, so this value will be calculated typically based on the input and after the value, after you click the save button. Okay, but right now if you can see, this value changes, remaining seats changes based on my input here directly. Okay, how this changes is because of another property which is called onChange property. Okay, see there is another property called onChange. Okay, seats. Okay, where it is defined onChange. Okay, onChange is defined actually in the field, in the view. Okay, let me go to the session view, form view for sessions. Okay, you can see the seats. Okay, I have given the onChange property and the function is change underscore remaining underscore seats. Okay, to get the remaining seats, I need to pass seats and attendee counts which are already available. Okay, so these are already available in that context, so you don't have to give any other thing. Okay, so this is again JavaScript function, so you don't have to mention, but this JavaScript function is actually mentioned within the Python code only. Okay, so this is change underscore remaining underscore seats and attendee count is passed. It is defined here, change underscore remaining underscore seats. Okay, and again you get the same thing, seats attendee count here, because you are defining inside Python, and within this model all other variables will be applicable. Okay, and see here the specific syntax on how to actually return the value. Okay, it is always a dictionary. Here the return value is always a dictionary, and the dictionary will have this kind of. So it is actually less of value. It's typically like this, right? X of value is equal to another dictionary. Okay. Or you can say something like this, less of value of, remaining, this is the field that we'll be setting up, right? So remaining those fields, right? Okay, is equal to, we'll be giving this. this function. Okay, so this also should return the same thing. Let me comment this code and see. Okay, it's throwing some error. I think in Python you may not be able to do this way. Probably you have to define another variable to store this and then store it here. Okay, so but basically the syntax is like this. Okay, first value you have to give another dictionary which says remaining seed percentage and the value. I mean this is the field name that we are returning. We can be actually you can return multiple values, okay, with more dictionary pairs. Okay, so this is about on change property. Waste time in this. Okay, so this is about on change property. Let's see the views. I think almost this part is over, except workflow. I think almost over. We have to see inheritance and also different types of views. Okay. Okay, so let me explain the form view first. Okay, you can see the form view of session. Okay, you can see that in the form view of session, you can see that there is a remaining seed which is bigger. Okay, you can see this particular field is very big. Okay, session name which is given very big, then it is grouped into four different columns. Then there are tabs, right? Similarly, I think in course also you can see this. Okay, see, there are two tabs. Okay, let's see session. So I have already opened it. Okay, so to generate this type of view, okay, see in all kind of view, I think in we have already seen the tree view, right? We all know that name has to be given, then unique ID has to be given, and the model is ir.ui.view. Okay, inside that you have to give the model for which you are generating this view. Then type is typically found. Actually, type does not have to be given. This is not mandatory. Okay, this is actually for our reference only, because in version 7 the type is taken from this string itself. Okay, so you don't have to define the type. Okay. So again, the field name, architecture, and type XML, where we define the actual view. Okay. So this is the typical structure for any view. Okay, these four records will always be there, and only inside this things will change. Okay, as I told you yesterday, there are two views where you are allowed to write, HTML content. Okay, one is this view, form view, and there is another type of view. I think it is, yeah. Sorry, another thing is Kanban view. Okay, only in Kanban view and form view you will be able to write HTML code. In other places you cannot write HTML code. Only you will have to follow the tags that are allowed by OpenAI. Okay, so let us just a minute. Okay, so in the top, right, you can see the different states. See, I have defined a field called states. You can see it here. Where is it? Okay, states is a selection field. Okay, I have written different types of fields. Okay, so these states are actually shown in the top. Okay, by using this particular field. See, this is the place. I have defined the header. See, in form string there are different parts. One is header and another is sheet. Okay, you can define multiple sheets, and below that there is something called footer, but you don't have to specifically say footer, but anything after that it is actually footer. Okay, there is no specific tag which says footer. Okay, so in header actually I have given another buttons which we'll see later why the buttons are not shown. We'll see later. Okay, now you can see that I have given the status bar, I have given the name state. Okay, I have given status bar underscore visible. I mean, the status bar will be visible only in these states. Okay, when draft, confirm, delay are done, only in these states the status bar will be visible. In other states, say, okay, there is another state called cancel. Okay, if the method is cancelled, then the status bar will not be visible. Okay, and you are going to give the widget is equal to status bar. Okay, so because the widget is given as status bar, it is actually displaying it that way. Otherwise, it will be displayed as a typical. Okay, so okay, this is status bar view. Okay, so when you give this, automatically it is displayed in this manner. And below that, you can define the sheet. See, if you define the sheet, you can see that OpenERP will display it within a sheet format. Okay, if you don't do that, probably you can try later without giving the sheet variable, but typically it is advised to give everything within the sheet function. Okay, but it is not mandatory, but if you define it this way, then it will be easier for to print. See, whatever you are seeing here, this will be the same as the print view if you define sheet. Okay, so if you define sheet, it will show in the sheet view, and below that, say I have given h1. Okay, and h1, and after that, the name of the field, the first field is name. You can see name is the first field that I have defined here. After that, I defined instructor ID, course ID, active, and seats. These are the field names. Okay, and I have given groups. Okay, I put these in one group. See, instructor, course, active, okay, these are put up in one group, and in another group, start date, duration, identity, count, and rate. Okay, okay, I have given a widget called progress bar, so that is why it is displaying in progress bar. If I take this again, it will display like this. You just give the widget as progress bar and automatically displays in progress. Okay. And you can see that I have defined everything in one main group, and within that I have defined two groups. Okay, so this is the structure that you will be. Even if you can add more groups, then it will automatically come down. Okay, and to display the tabs, okay, you have to define notebook for tabs. Okay, and for in notebook you can create different tabs by creating page. Okay, in each page, see if you can add another page. Okay, each I guess I'm not sure if this will work, but let me try. I think I'll take something more. I'm not sure if this is allowed. Okay. No errors, so it's obviously allowed. See, there are two tabs. Okay, based on this, and this is the string which actually goes as the header. Okay, so notebook, and within the notebook, I have defined the field name attendees. Okay, and within attendees, I am going to define the tree view. Right, it is actually in a tree view. Tree view is nothing but a data grid. In the tree view, I am doing the name and partner ID. See, if I don't display the tree view, okay, it is going to display all the fields. Okay, say let me try that. Okay, let us not give the field preview. Let us see what happens. I wanted to try this, but it's not trying. No, it is going to give me only the attendee name. I thought it is going to give me all the names. Okay, it is giving only the attendee name. Okay, so if I have to, you can specify the complete preview of that particular attendee. Okay, by giving this, and you can define the name and ID. I mean, in the attendees model, you have these things, right? Okay. Yeah, the partner ID and session ID. Session ID is already available as part of this, right? So this is in session, so you don't have to. This is about the form view for. Okay, and you can see that once a record is saved, automatically this social networking part comes up, right? You can automatically give the message and everything. Okay. So this is actually derived from another method, I mean another thing called as main. Okay, that is why when you go here in the this model, you can see that it inherits mail.thread. Okay, and also sorry, one important thing which I don't which I forgot to tell you. See, when I put this, I told that this is translatable, right? So this underscore is apparently a function, okay, which is defined here. Okay, that is why from tools dot translate import we are importing underscore. Okay, this is the function which is used for translation, so we are importing that function. Okay, without that it will throw error. Okay, so please be careful about that. Okay, so I showed you that. So while after importing this, you just have to copy paste it to get this section. Okay, you just have to inherit and do this, and also you might have to do some changes here. Here you have to say that it depends on mail also, otherwise it will throw some error. Okay, because the functions depend on the mail module. Okay, so regarding this view, you guys have any doubts in this view as of now? Tree view you have already seen. Okay, you have already seen the tree view. Okay, anyway, I'll explain some things here. You can give the widget progress bar here also. In the tree view, there is another thing called you can actually change the colors based on conditions. Say, I'm going to give colors red if the status is confirmed, or blue if the status is in draft, done or draft. You can see in this view that if it is in confirm it is in red, if it is in done it is in blue, draft. Okay, and you can see that progress bar is coming. Okay, actually it has some problem in Firefox. It is not I think some browser compatibility. Okay, so that is about,
Hello.
yeah,
Hello, Abul.
yes.
Abul, you said some on-change event for some fields, right?
Yes,
In that, we are retrieving some values only, depends upon that event.
yes.
Can we show some grids when we are changing that? I mean, on change, can we show some grids? Depends on some conditions like some grid
We
view
show some.
of. Can we show some grid views? Not only the single value.
Uh,
I mean, we are showing. If I want to see the number of attendees, means the number of attendees grid views details.
ah, See, that can be done. See, actually, that is another field, ATTRS, which I will explain you probably later. Okay. Actually, that is not in on-change event. There is something called ATTRS. Probably we'll see the example tomorrow. He showed me that. I have the same question. Okay. I'm not sure if we have it here. No. I put it up somewhere.
Okay, okay.
I will remember that. There is a property called ATTRS. Please note it down. Okay, ATTRS. Okay, based on condition, you can actually show some part of the document and hide some part of the document. That is what you are asking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Amber.
Yeah. So based on condition, you can show some part of the document and hide some part of the document. You
Yeah.
can do that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That can be done. Okay. So that can be done. That is ATTRS property. Okay. We'll probably see that tomorrow. I have asked him to give an example. See here, actually, the example you can actually see is uh, sale module is not installed. Why it is not showing error? The user. See here, you open an event, you check convert opportunity. Okay, so see, view is changing, right? This is what you are asking, right, Maya? Okay, so you can actually do that. Okay, there is some property called as ATTRS. You can go to what is this lead. Probably you can go to CRM. It should be somewhere here. You can see that. Okay, or you can search with ATTRS. Okay, and it will show somewhere. So from where you can actually pick up the example how they are done. Okay, but there is something called see. See, if it is depending on this, actually they are showing somewhere. Okay. So this is the field. Okay, you can say search for multiple different things. I mean, different places where how it is used differently. Okay, so let us get back to the preview that we were in. We were in the preview, right? Okay, so we have seen the preview. Let's close it. Okay, so in the session, in the search, here there is nothing to search. Okay, there is nothing to search here. There is only advanced search which is available, but in session, see, there are different types of filters and group bys. Okay, so this is actually given here. Okay, it is again the same thing, only the type is search and the string, I mean the tag within the field name arc is equal to, it is also search. Okay, you give the name from name, then see here I have mentioned 4 different fields. Okay, name, constructor ID, course ID and state. Okay, so when I search for these names, it will automatically show. If I don't give the state, then it will not search in state field. Okay, so if I give if I just list the field names, then it will search in the field name. Say for example, let me type A. Okay, see where it's searching. It's searching the instructor, it's searching the course, it's searching the status. Okay, there was one more thing. Name, instructor ID. Probably the A did not match there. Okay, so it will search everywhere. Okay, so you can search and select him. So similarly, there is filters. There are 2 different filters you can see here. Okay, which is confirm delay. Okay, these filters are given here. Filter name is equal to confirm, string is equal to confirm, and the domain. See, this is what is very important. Okay, I'm going to give tuple. Okay, which says state in confirm. Okay, here this is a very basic example. This is actually tuple of tuple because I have chosen in, so I'm giving two values. If it is equal to, I can give state is equal to done. Okay, so only if it is in done state it will show. See, there is one record in done state, so it is shown. Okay, and typically in group by there are three filters. Okay, I'm going to give group by in separate this thing. So again you use the filter, but here there is no domain name, you have to give context. Okay, group by course ID, instructor ID, and state. See, there are three different. Okay. First it group by instructor, within that course name, and then status is cancelled. Okay, three different views. Okay, this search view. Let us see calendar view. Okay, let us see calendar view. In calendar view, okay, again these four records are the same. Let us not discuss that here. I've given the string name in calendar name, calendar this thing. There are different properties.
Hello.
This property is color. Hello, yes.
Yeah, we can't able to see the screen now.
Not able to see the screen. Tell me when you can see the screen, I'll continue. Still not seeing the screen?
No, I'm able to see the screen.
Or you can refresh the page. Okay, fine. So there are different properties: color, date start, date delay. See? Color is nothing but actually it is group by. It will show different colors for each activity. See, if I chose this thing, it will show different courses in different colors. If I chose, say, for example, instructor. Okay, I can just choose instructor underscore ID. Okay, so it will show all the list of instructors here. See? Different instructors. Okay, you can filter by choosing only one. Okay, and here date underscore start, give the start date. See, here we have to say when the event is starting. Okay, so this is the start date is the date that we have defined here. This should be a date field. Okay, this should be a date field or date and time field, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, now date delay. See, this date delay is actually number of days. See, either you can give date underscore end or you can receive date underscore delay. It is actually the duration from the start date. It will calculate the duration. Okay, we already have duration mentioned here, so we are going to give the duration. Okay, duration is actually given in days. Okay, and mode is equal to month. You can set the default mode. It is in month. If you give week, by default it opens in week. That's all. and there is fields name, instructor ID, course ID. Okay, it is actually shown here. See, name, instructor ID, course ID. Okay, we cannot actually customize the view. Say for example, if I want to give the label here,
they're
yeah?
not. Yeah, they are coming back again.
Okay, so there are three fields which I have shown here. One is name, instructor ID, and course ID. Name, instructor ID, and course ID are visible here. Okay, you cannot change the format here. You can just list the field names and it will list here. You cannot change the format or the way it is looked. Okay, it's not customizable as of now. Okay, so this is about calendar view. If I mean, you guys have any doubts in calendar view? Okay, I take that as no, and I can. Okay, that is about calendar view, and let us go to Gantt view because it is very similar to calendar view. Okay, same thing, post, start date, date to date. Okay, only thing is that this is Gantt. Okay, mode is also you can give, and you can give the default group by. Okay, group by which records, and there is another level of group by. Actually, this is not working. Okay, this is actually not working, sadly. Okay, you can go and see Gantt view. Show you the group ID and the session names. Okay, we have given another kind of group by which is instructor ID, right? So it will be course, instructor, and then session, but it is not showing. It is not working. So, okay, only one level of grouping is available. Okay, so that is about Gantt view, and let me explain about graph view. Okay, graph view actually, it has three axes. Okay, there are different types of graphs. You have to mention only one here. Okay, I mean which type of graph you want to show. The other type of graphs will always be available. Okay, I don't think there is a way to restrict it. Okay, you have to give the different kind of this thing. Okay, so in the x-axis I have given name, and the y-axis the attendee count. The attendee count and y-axis. Say if there are two different records with the same name 1, 2, 3. Okay, it will add the values. It will just add the values. See if you can see that 1, 2, 3 has, okay, attendees is not part of it. See 1, 2, 3 has two values. Here the number of attendees is 1. And here it is 2. Okay, that is why in graph view it is 3. Okay, actually there is supposed to be an operator which actually does this calculation. So if we put actually plus, hello,
Yeah, they came back.
okay, there seems to be an operator based on which the calculation runs. Say for example, if it is plus, if there are two identical records, the value is actually added. If not, you can give multiplication, and there are three, I think 4 or 5 different operators you can see in the documentation. Okay, and minimum, which takes only the minimum value, but actually these operators are not working. Only plus is working. So whatever value it is there, it is just adding up and showing it. Okay, probably I think that is a bug. Okay. Okay, so this is about graph view, calendar view. Okay, so there is only another type of view called as Kanban view. Okay, as you can see here, this is the Kanban view. Okay. See, Kanban view, don't try to actually define it. You can always copy paste it because it is actually huge. Okay. You define all the field names that are going to be part of this view. Okay. Here there are two other fields which is not from here but from the mail thread. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, it is not showing here. Say for example, if this will it's not showing. Actually, if there is a new message for this particular document, it will show here as new. Okay, for that that is another. For this actually the field names. The other field names which are to be displayed are shown here. Okay. And here we mention what is the default group by. We are grouping by state. Okay. You can actually change the group by values. You can change by instructor. You can change by state. Okay. But the default is actually mentioned here. Okay. These are the field names that are being displayed. Okay. We have actually defined another field name called as color. Okay. Why? Because from Kanban view, you can actually change the color of the display record. So to store that, actually we have defined one thing. Okay. So after defining the fields, then now we are actually going into the template. Okay. In the template, we are defining the Kanban box. Okay, this box is nothing but when you click on this, it's showing three options. One is edit, delete, and changing the color, right? Okay, so these are the three things. Okay, first is actually edit, delete, color. Okay. This again is on class. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, you can actually go and see in detail if you want. This is the structure that is given. So these are the three different things: edit, delete, and color. This is the widget to edit. When you click this, it will automatically take you to edit of that particular record. This will take you to delete, and this will show the color picker where you can change. Okay, these are standard things. You don't have to change. Just copy paste. And these are the different fields that are shown as part of the view. Name, instructor ID, course ID. Okay. Here you can give labels actually. See, for example, here I have given remaining fields. This is the actual field value, but here you can give the different field names because it accepts HTML. Okay. As I said, only form and Kanban view accepts HTML. So you can give anything. And after that, there is something called image. There is an image here. Okay. So we have given the partner image. There is a image within the partner module, which is the image field. Okay, you just copy paste this. Okay, let us not get into this detail. Even I did not ask. You just have to pass that. See, partner is nothing but instructor. Instructor is taken from partner, right? You just have to give the instructor ID here. Wherever the ID comes. Okay, what we did is actually we copy pasted from CRM and changed this ID. That's all. Okay, we can leave the full documentation probably from the net. That's all about the Kanban view. Right, that's all Kanban view. Okay, there is something called actions and workflow, which we'll see tomorrow. These are all different types of views. We have seen all the views. Okay, Kanban view, list view, this is the tree view, form view, calendar view, graph view, and Gantt view. Right? All different types of views we have seen. Two things we did not see, which I have already learned. One is inheritance, and another one is workflow. Okay. which I'll try to cover tomorrow or probably after coming back. Okay. Friday there won't be any class because I'll be taking the 7 o'clock flight, so I won't be able to. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see reports. I think reports after covering in the class I'll be able to do that. So workflow probably we can see later. Okay, when I come back. Okay, so I've given the files to go through. Okay, do your own records, do your own different types of views. Okay, don't just copy paste. Experiment with different types of views. Okay, and all the documentations are available as part of the thing that I've given to you. It is also available on the internet. You can go through the technical documentation. Everything is available. Okay, it may not be the latest version for the latest version, but all the differences between the older and the latest version I have already given to you, right? So follow them. Okay.
Okay.
Alright guys, anything else?
No.
No, sir. As of now,
Yeah.
we need to work on
Okay.
this. We need those files.
I've
Yeah.
already sent these files to you. Okay. Right? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay guys, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.